Okay.
Start.
Right now?
Yeah, right now. There we go.
Okay, great. All right. Well, hi, everyone. Welcome to today's session. Before I hand it over to Christian from LinkedIn, I just want to say that I am super excited to have all of you here today as we dive into really what is one of the most powerful tools that we can use to build relationships, uncover opportunities, and ultimately grow our pipeline. For those of you who are first-time users, would love for you to kind of just look at this as a way to find the right people, to keep track of them, to understand what matters to them most, and also start meaningful conversations. So my goal for today is just to have all of us leave here feeling super excited and confident, empowered, and just really wanting to use Sales Navigator in our day-to-day. Today's session is just the first of many that we'll have. So it's really just an introductory session to help us get started. We'll absolutely be holding sessions in the future, and we will tailor those so that they're meaningful and impactful in terms of what we're trying to accomplish here at Empyrean. Before I hand it off, though, to Christian to get started, I don't know, Jim, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if there's anything that you want to say, feel free. But yeah, we can go ahead and get started if you want to, Christian.
Yeah, no, thanks, man. I think just for everybody, look,
Yeah.
we've had these conversations a lot within our team. I know some individuals on our team have used the Sales Navigator and have purchased this independently. Just like every tool, these tools are vetted, designed, put in place to help you be more effective in your daily pursuit of trying to build connections in the marketplace. And so this is a great tool to do that. Just like any tool, the more we use it, the more benefit we'll get out of it. The less we use it, sorry, Christian, the renewal is going to be harder. But it all is incumbent on you and how you build it into your daily routines, how you want to use this to ultimately become better at helping you drive and building connections. So excited that we're able to kick this off. So thank you both, Christian and Amanda, for putting this together.
And I will post this recording on Highspot. And so I'll send this out in a follow-up communication so that everyone has access to it, including those who were not able to make it today.
And yes, we all want an easy renewal, so let's make sure we're using this. But give me 1 second here. I'm putting something in the chat. As Amanda mentioned, right, today's session is going to be very basic. So let me kind of walk you through what we'll be doing. So right now, what we're going to do is for everyone who has had an individual license, and I believe there's about a dozen or so folks, I'm going to put some instructions in the chat right now and walk you through the process of how to cancel those and then get all of your data transferred over to the corporate account. So for those of you who are off camera or are on camera and had an individual license, can you just give me a quick either thumbs up with the emoji or thumbs up on the screen if you do?
Wait, if we do have one
Yeah, if you had
by
an individual
ourselves, or
license.
if we've canceled one now to have this one.
If you did have one in the past by yourselves. So
Okay.
it sounds like
I
Kelly.
did in the past, but I canceled when we got this one.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, when did you cancel, Kelly?
Whenever we got notified about this, probably a few weeks ago, a month ago, maybe.
Okay, perfect. Did they prompt you when you canceled it to change your data over?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
I
no
just
worries.
like when we got this one, I just re-clicked the link that was sent out and then it just brought it back up.
Okay, give me 1 sec here. For some reason the chat is frozen and it's not letting me hit enter. There we go. All right, so what I'm going to do right now, bear with me while I'm just making sure everything's good. Again, I'm going to walk you all through this process, and you're just going to copy and paste what I'm putting in the chat. Okay, so go ahead for those of you who had that, and then I'll start sharing my screen. So it'll take 2 seconds to do this, but everyone hopefully can see my screen here. And what you're going to do is you're just going to open this chat box here. Let me make this a little smaller so everyone can see. You're going to open this chat box here of chat with us. and then you're just going to paste that message that's in the chat right here. Okay. It's going to take a few minutes, so don't worry about getting this done right now on the call. What's going to happen is once that message is posted, it's going to get forwarded over to me, and then me and the support team, or the support team and I, excuse me, will take care of that on the back end. For those of you who've been using the platform for a while and have like a lot of saved leads or your accounts or just a lot of work in there, if you haven't done it already, all that work is going to be transferred over. So you're not going to be starting from scratch. Additionally, this version, it does integrate with Salesforce. We're hoping to get that set up in the next few weeks. But once you have that integration fully baked out, all of your accounts, all of your leads that you're owners of are going to come over as well. So for the next 45 minutes or so, here's the breakdown of what we're going to go through. The next 10 to 15 minutes are just going to be for like a very basic welcome to Sales Navigator. Here's where everything is. Here's how to use it for the folks who haven't used it before. So it's going to be, again, just a very introductory 10 to 15 minute session. From there, we're going to transition into what's different between the corporate version and what users have had before, because they are two different. While they look the same, there's a lot more that you can do in this version than you've had before. So that'll be the second half. And then from there, depending on how much time is left, hopefully about 15 to 20 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes or so, we'll just do Q&A. But at any point, if you want me to slow down or if you want me to repeat myself, if you have just a general quick question, feel free to come off mute. Or Amanda, if you can monitor the chat, please just put it in the chat and then I'll answer it as we go. Does that sound good for everyone? Awesome. Perfect. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me, 1 second here.
Sorry, Christian, before you move forward, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, of course, of course. Go ahead.
This is Margot Ray. I'm a newer rep out of the Dallas office, and I'm trying to cancel. Where did you say you went to type in that? I don't even, like, chat with us doesn't work, and...
No problem. So if you're on the Sales Navigator homepage here in the bottom corner, you should see that chat with us, and then you should see a pop-up. Do you see the pop-up that says help and help assistant?
All right, I was hitting the wrong button. I got it. Sorry. Keep moving forward. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. And if anybody does have like issues or anything at all, like at any time, feel free to email me. Amanda will share it, but I'll put it in the chat right now. That's my direct email. You obviously get a follow up with the recording as well, but feel free. Again, you're never going to be too annoying. The other thing that I'll ask too, I always forget to mention this, but please connect with me on LinkedIn. That's also another great way to message me. So just look up my profile real quickly, connect with me, and then you can message me there as well. Awesome. So this is where I'll start again, right? Just for everyone who's new to the platform, isn't familiar with Sales Navigator. Hopefully you're all familiar with LinkedIn.com, but I do like to start just explaining the differences between regular LinkedIn and what you'll have with Sales Navigator. So regular LinkedIn.com, it's obviously a social network, right? It's meant to see posts like this one from one of my old colleagues who looks like she's starting a new role. You'll see advertisements like this one, right? And then half the time I see things that they're just people I don't know. So it is very noisy. To get to Sales Navigator, for all of you, all you have to do is go in the top right corner of this banner and you'll hit that compass. Now, once you hit that compass, you'll be guided to the homepage, and I encourage you all to bookmark it. That way, all you have to do is type in the word sales, and then it'll open it up directly for you. Now, the difference between LinkedIn.com and Sales Navigator, as you can see, is everything that I see right now within this newsfeed is curated directly to my business. So these are all prospects or key decision makers within my accounts that I want to focus on, but I'll be seeing news relevant to them and the companies that I'm focused on. We'll talk a little bit more about how we get those leads or those alerts in this news feed in a second. But what you're seeing right now is obviously I've used this platform for almost 10 years, right? So I've got a lot of information in here. But long story short, is this makes your prospecting and your day-to-day so much faster because it gives you the most important things that you should know as a seller based on the accounts that you're focused on. So for example, this one right here, right at the top, this is actually one of my top accounts. So if you know anybody there, please let me know. I would love an introduction. But I see that they're actually hiring for account executives. So that's a great signal for me, right? They're a growing team. Really want to focus on that one. I actually, even earlier today when I saw it, I commented, right? Just really good opportunity to get my name out there. We'll go into best practices a little bit more once we get some more trainings and the team's comfortable. But this is a great opportunity, right? Just to get my name out there, recognize my name, just comment on it. They always appreciate that. Really good way to boost response rates. Actually, while we're on the subject, people who comment and like LinkedIn posts on their prospects are 60% more likely to get responses. So if you already have folks, for those of you who are familiar with the platform and you already have folks saved, this is a great way to boost your response rate on cold outreach. Here on the newsfeed, you'll have a couple different alerts. So like I said, you'll have your lead alerts. So leads are going to be the specific people. Then you'll have your account alerts. So your account alerts fall into a couple different categories. You'll have account growth, very self-explanatory, right? If they're hiring or if they've got increased headcount, it will look like that. And it'll show you not only where they're hiring, but what companies they are hiring from. So this is a really great way to see if a specific company is hiring from your current customers or if a competitor is hiring from another competitor, right? Different things that you can leverage within your conversations. Now, the other two that I like to focus on are buyer intent and new decision makers. Account updates, suggested leads, and account risks. Those are more so for the account management side. If you're looking to grow an account, so like account updates are just basic news alerts. Suggested leads are folks that the system, so for example, if you reach out to CROs regularly, it'll suggest different CROs if anyone starts there. And then account risk is just opposite of account growth. So as we can see here, all these companies are growing. If a company is contracting in headcount, then it'll come under account risk. So if you are managing accounts right now, I don't think anyone on this call is, but you'll be able to see that as well. So I'm going to turn on buyer intent and new decision makers and then talk about that quickly. So buyer intent is going to highlight, give me 1 second to let Lisa in. Buyer intent is going to highlight companies who are researching Empyrean. So what that means is if they're interacting with your company website, if they're interacting with any of the company posts or ads, or if they're looking at your profile. So for example, all of these companies here are accounts that I've saved in my book, and they have what we call high buyer intent. So what the system is going to do is it's going to alert you to that, and then it's going to show you the departments that those folks interacting with the ads or any of the material are in. Now, because of privacy,
is that based on LinkedIn searches only?
No, so it is based on LinkedIn searches, but it's based on also ad interactions and website visits, as well as any post interactions.
But everything within the LinkedIn universe.
Yes, everything within the LinkedIn universe plus your website interactions.
Thank you.
Yeah. So as I was saying, because of privacy, we can't show you exactly who the person is, right? So like if Amanda interacted with the post, it won't say, hey, Amanda clicked on this post. But the beauty of this is because this is first party data, unless you're reaching out to a company that's got 5,000 directors of marketing, for example, this company only has 601. It's going to real quickly show me every person, and it's only 8 people, right? So I can really easily deduce who those 8 people are, and we'll go into more of how we can do that. So let me turn this off here. And this is a good spot to pause. Are there any other questions from the group? Perfect. I'll keep on moving then. All right. So the other things that you'll... Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. John had a good question in the chat. He was asking, he said, I assume there's something we have to do to link our accounts. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's 2 things you can do in the meantime while we wait for the Salesforce integration to set up. Once the Salesforce integration is set up, all of your accounts will come over automatically that you're the owner of. But if you do have a list of your accounts as a CSV, or if you have a list of accounts in Salesforce as a CS and you can export it as a CSV, I'm actually going to show in the next couple minutes how to upload that list and have your accounts ready for you.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Just a quick, while we're on the topic, Amanda or anybody can answer this question. Roughly how many accounts does each rep have right now?
Anne, do you want to answer that?
Did you say how many each have?
Yeah, just for ballpark.
Call it 500. Just
Okay.
go 500
Perfect.
right now.
Awesome. Perfect.
Well,
Yeah, so go ahead,
Sorry,
Stephanie.
I had a related question just
Yeah.
because I would also be curious if the sales leaders from a management seat can have all the accounts too. Can they be for their own regional purposes? Why not?
Yes. Yes, you definitely can. And I'll show that as well. I'll talk through it just a little bit. And then Amanda, maybe that something you and I can do is schedule just a training for specifically for the managers to go through the management workflows.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That's great.
Perfect. But yeah, great question, Stephanie. So when you do upload your book, which I'll show in a second, you'll have your book of business here. As you can see, I have my book of business, and then I also have my CRM accounts, and then I have some different tiers. We'll talk about that more on the advanced trainings of how to prioritize and tier your accounts. But it's also going to give you an idea of where you should focus your time, right? So it looks like out of my 330 accounts, 250 of them have moderate to high buyer intent. 6 of them are growing pretty fast, and then 2 of them are at risk, right? So if I was an account manager, I'd focus on these for any renewals. These are great for any growth conversations, right? And then these are great because there's probably some warm introductions and folks that are familiar with what we do here. Now, the other piece that you're going to have is personas. And personas is a newer feature. Let me clean this out real quick. I don't know why that's there. It's for another training that we did for somebody. But personas are a really great feature to give you essentially what I would call like your total addressable market within your territory. So again, using my example, I sell to salespeople, right? Everyone here is a seller. So it's very important for me to understand how many sellers are within my territory. So what I've done is I've built a persona for everyone under the sales and business development function located in North America. Now it real quickly tells me 75 people or 75,000 people, sorry, match my persona in my counts, right? Same for C-suite executives. Very important to understand who the C-suite executives are. And then it tells me, okay, close to 45,000 persona, close to 45,000 leads, match that persona in my accounts. Now, this is really great when you find yourself having conversations with multiple different decision makers and multiple different lines of business. So for example, for y'all, if you're reaching out to human resources a lot or administrative, maybe sometimes you're focused on operations folks, what you can do is create a specific persona for all of those folks and then get a really good like 30,000 foot view of who's within your territory. So for example, if I want to just do human resources, I can under function hit that, I'll title it HR. I'll always add geography just because it'll show you where those folks are located, because obviously you don't want to be reaching out to somebody, maybe your company is based in New York, but that person's in Europe, right? Probably not the best fit. So we always want to turn on geography. And then it's up to you to do seniority level or job title. Now, my recommendation, if you're following along and building this, keep your persona very broad, because what this is a very wide net. And then what we'll get into again in the next few minutes is how to drill down into that persona, because you have so many more filters when we go into lead filters. So for example, just
So with
going
the
back.
title, if
Yes.
they can vary quite a bit. So it's enough to put in like a keyword of title, will then search across multiple titles that will include that particular word.
Yes, great question, Ann. And yeah, there is the ability to search for keywords, and we'll go into that once we go into the lead filters.
Okay, so it's not under job title. That would have to be an exact match.
I'll explain the differences when we get into lead filters in a sec.
Sounds good.
Yep. But yes, so like I'm similar to me, right? Titles and can vary for salespeople. Some are account directors, some are account executives, some people are consultants, right? So for me, I just make it very, very broad because you probably don't remember when you created your LinkedIn account, but it does ask you what department do you line up with, right? So no matter what your job title is, you most likely go and choose sales, right? Or you most likely go and choose human resources, depending where you fall on when you update and create your profile. Cool. The last piece I'll show on the homepage is the priority accounts. So this is just going to highlight any accounts that you should focus on. Again, just like what we see up here, but just making you more efficient. So accounts with high buyer intent, if they have moved buyer intent, and then employee headcount, right? So really what we see in the homepage, I know we spent a lot of time in here, but it's just a great way what you should do if you prospect in the morning. Like I love to prospect the first hour of the morning. Nobody's bothering me, have no calls booked. I can just log on, put my headphones on. This is where I come in and just really quickly spend like the first 5 minutes. What's going on in my territory? Where should I focus? This is great for that. Cool. Before I move on, any other questions here? Anything in the chat? Nope. Okay, perfect. Awesome. So let's move on with kind of the tour where everything is. We'll spend 5 more minutes on the tour, but we're going to go into accounts. So now when you have your accounts, this is where you'll be able to get again a 30,000-foot view of all of your accounts. So this is like my prioritization matrix, as I like to think about it. Again, when I log on and I want to do prospecting, or if I'm just looking at my territory. Now, before I go into it, let's talk about how to upload your accounts. So again, when the Salesforce integration is set up, all those accounts will automatically come over. But I do encourage you, if you can, just export your accounts as a CSV in Salesforce. If you need help with that, I can show you how. But once you export that as a CSV, you'll just upload your accounts with this button. And if you don't see the blue button, it changes sometimes. If you don't see the blue button on this view, all you have to do is hit see account list, and then you'll see the blue button there. So I just want to cover that because it's very finicky. Like for whatever reason, it shows up in different views, but you should view, does everyone just, if you can, give me a thumbs up if you see the upload accounts button. Perfect. Thanks, Stephanie. Great. So we'll hit the upload accounts button. It'll tell you can upload up to 1,000 accounts at a time. So that's why I asked, right? So you're well within that range. You'll just hit continue. You'll upload the CSV. I don't think I have a CSV ready, but what it's going to do is it's going to ask you to match the account name and the website URL. So let me see if I can just do it right now. Perfect. Here it is. Right here, that's going to be the next step. You'll match your account name. For us, it's under ultimate parent name and then website URL. It's not in my CSV, but it's okay. So what it's going to do is it's going to take that company that's on LinkedIn, match those two, and then present them to you here. Any questions on that process from like a technical standpoint or anything there? Nope. Okay, cool. And again, if you have any issues or have any questions, just message me, message Amanda, and we can set up some time to do that. Now, once you do have those uploaded, very easy. And this is why personas come in, and this is where buyer intent comes in. So what I'll do is I'll come here. I see all of my accounts, all 330, and I just filter by buyer intent. For whatever reason, it shows us negative buyer intent first. So you just have to click it twice, and then it'll show you the highest buyer intent. Now it does a couple things. Because of the Salesforce connection, it'll show you if there's any open opportunities there. So Stephanie, and if the other managers are on here, this is really great if you're just doing like pipeline reviews, or if you're just, in your one-on-ones, you can go ahead and see, okay, do we have an open opportunity at this account? Maybe there's a renewal, maybe there's an add-on, right? Then it'll show you your connection path. So what that's doing is it shows you all the folks that you have a warm introduction opportunity towards, right? So out of their 10 employees in this, let's use actually this one. Out of their 95 employees, I have 30 people that I can reach out and have a warm introduction to, right? So if I just click on that, it's going to show me all those people real easily. Then from here, it shows me buyer intent, right? So it shows me how it breaks down. It looks like 2 people are engaging with our ads and 24 people have company engagement. So what company engagement means is that those folks are interacting with LinkedIn employees. Now, if there are any alerts, so for example, if there was a new executive that started, or in this case, it looks like Angie at, sorry, one sec. It looks like Angie just posted on LinkedIn. It'll show you those alerts. And then again, just like I did with the connections, you click on them and it'll show you that. Now, if you, I don't think this is the case, but is anybody working with like BDRs or other account members or support members on the team? No? Okay. So then this is another good piece for managers when you're doing pipeline reviews or anything like that. You can add notes to accounts. So like Stephanie, you're on my screen, so I'm going to pick on you. But let's say I'm your rep and you're looking at my account and you see that you're connected to the CEO for whatever reason. Maybe you went to college, maybe you did something right. You can obviously share that link with me, share that note with me in Sales Navigator. But then you can also add a note here, right? And you can write, hey, see that I'm connected to Jim. Reach out to me when you're ready. And then, right. So really good way to interact with folks here.
So just curious if there's another integration direction back to Salesforce that would capture that back in Salesforce, trying to tie it over there.
Yes. So if you see here, you'll be able to log that activity to Salesforce. It's going to have to be public though. So if you notice, like you have private notes and then public notes. So if you want to log it to Salesforce, just make sure it's public.
Does it come in as a note or is it coming in as a task?
Let me find out for you, actually. I'm not sure.
Okay, this is a totally random question, but since I'm
No,
on
it's okay.
mute, it's totally this is a very random question, but we often use the client logos in our presentations and having to find the right one and then save it off for, the decks, etc. They're nice and handy right here. I know they're also in Salesforce sometimes too. Can we grab them? I mean, is that like a PGP that we could just pull the logo?
Yeah, I do the same thing. Yeah, you just come here, just either save or copy the image.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Awesome. So the other piece that I'll show on this window is the persona piece. So again, this is why personas come in handy and make it very easy for you. You can just plug in your persona. So again, I'll use my example of salespeople, and then it'll basically make recommendations on who you should reach out to based on all the data we have. So for example, Mark here, it says that I should reach out to Mark. Why? Because the account has high buyer intent and I have 4 team link connections. And then I just click on it. Now it'll give me this smaller view of his profile, but if I click on his name, it'll give me a bigger view. I'm just going to open this now, and then I'll see all of his information here. Now, there's a couple different things that we'll go into in a second to make sure everybody understands the differences, especially for the users who have gone into it, but I won't go into it right now. But it's going to give you some more information that makes messaging Mark a lot easier. But back to it. I'm going to open that for later. Again, right, we just see all of his information, what his posts are, his titles, etc. Cool. Last pause for questions before we move on. Nope. Awesome. So you'll have your account list. Again, we'll go into just how you can tier your accounts on another training, but this will be your dashboard here. So the same way, this will be quick. The same way you have your account lists, you'll also have your lead lists. Lead list is great, especially when we get the CRM integration running. So you obviously have anyone who's accepted your connections or emails, so it makes it very easy to do follow-ups if you don't have like cadences or anything like that. It'll show you any leads or contacts that you have in your CRM that you're an account owner. Recommended leads, that's self-explanatory. New executives and saved accounts. So any executives who have started in the past 3 months, refreshes every week. You'll also get an alert in your email every week when someone new starts. And then my favorite, past customers at new companies. So Jim, I know this one was something that we talked about a lot, right? This is basically going to pull anyone within your saved accounts or within your territory who was tied to a closed won opportunity in the past. So very easily, let's just say Amanda signed a contract with XYZ company 3 years ago. And now, actually, Amanda, you are a past customer. So this is a good example. So Amanda is a past customer. She started at Empyrean. She was on this alert list as well, right? So very easy for you to go back, find champions, find folks that you have warm introductions to. And again, you click on it. If you see here, I have 231 people, and it'll show me all those folks. And then you can also update them in your CRM. So this is something, again, we'll go through it. Maybe Ann, you and I can talk about this a little bit more. But
Sure thing.
anyone who has an old job title, right? So like she's general counsel for Food Mart here, but we have her as general counsel for Rebel Transit. All I have to do is hit update and it'll update her information to the most recent here. So all of these people, all 231 of them, all have at one point or another signed a contract with LinkedIn, whether it's on the sales side, talent side, whatever. We have a lot of products, but really good opportunity to reach out to these folks. And they're all in my territory. See, there you go, Amanda. Right there. Great. Any questions on that piece? Because that's where people really like have a lot of questions. It's a big aha moment for folks. No, awesome. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to show you is Smart Links. Again, just the last piece of the tour. That's going to be our content tracking tool. So you'll all get a Smart Link after this here. Excuse me. But what Smart Links does is it allows me to understand who's interacting with things that I send out. So for example, when I send out a proposal or when I send out a white paper, we all get that question like, just send me more information, right? And 9 times out of 10, they're not going to look at it. But this really gives you a good understanding of if they look at it. This is also really helpful when you send proposals and you want to understand who else is a part of the decision committee, because it'll show you exactly who viewed it, who they forwarded it to, how long, and then you can also log that in your CRM. Again, we'll go through more detail of how to use these, how to include them in messaging and stuff like that down the road. But you can create it very easily by just titling it, adding your content. You can do a file or a website, and then you'll enable them to download it and create. And all you got to do is copy and paste it and include it in an email or message or whatever. Stephanie, go ahead.
Yeah, this might be a question back internally. We have HighSpot, very similar function of
Okay.
tracking and engagement with the proposals. Is this separate, related, integrated?
Yeah, good question. I don't have any integration with HighSpot on here, but probably just another
Would this
way to
be
do the same thing.
content that is being uploaded as part of blogs and so on that our users are sharing via LinkedIn?
Say the first part again.
What you're showing here, like
Mhm.
someone had interacted with it,
Mhm.
where was that content shared from?
I uploaded it. So for example, this one, I just went and I uploaded. I can
Within
upload.
LinkedIn, you uploaded it in your LinkedIn profile. Is that it?
No, I just uploaded to Sales Navigator. So I upload either a
Yeah,
file here. Yeah, I can upload either a file or I can upload a website. If I upload a website, I just have to copy and paste the website URL and then just gives them a quick link.
That you
Okay.
sent to them an in-mail. That's what they're interacting with? Like how,
No,
where
no,
are
no.
they? I might have missed it. Sorry. What
No, it's
is
okay.
this engagement?
This engagement is if they click on the link that I send them. So like here, you can actually include this link literally in any communication. So this is the link that you'll have actually after the follow-up on instructions of how to cancel. If anyone on this call right now clicks this link, I'll get notified of it. Now, I also can include that link in an email. I can include it in a LinkedIn message. I can include it in an in-mail. Any type of communication with my customer, if I include that link and they click on it, I will get notified.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, awesome. Like I think, yeah, like Jim, the proposal I sent to you when we were getting this done, right? That was a smart link. So I got a notification that you opened it. So yeah, really great for proposals, white papers, any type of content that you're sending.
Can we, I'm
Yeah,
curious, and I don't know if maybe Susan or others and someone. So we use HighSpot and we create, that's where a lot of everyone's going to get content or types of things
Yeah.
on it. That is it easy to just link or do we got to pull or download? What's that process look like,
Yeah, if you guys are using HighSpot, maybe just use HighSpot for that as well. It sounds like they both do the same thing. So, it's up to you, whatever the team's most comfortable with. Yeah, no big deal.
Maybe as a takeaway, Amanda, some of this, we'll want to document kind of best
Yes.
practices of when to use this versus HighSpot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're-
no,
I'm just saying that they're both. I mean, can the link be the high
Mhm.
spot? That's what high spots is a link.
Sure.
That's and
Yeah.
what we need. It would get the interaction from here, but high spots also measuring what they're interacting with in it. Like I could see a place there's overlap, but in a good way of how we get it to them.
Yeah.
So anyway,
That's a good
that would
point.
take
Yeah.
away about high spots.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Steph.
Let's take that one offline if you don't mind.
yes. Mhm.
Just so we keep it moving and then we can figure out best practices with the team.
Yes.
Great. So that's it for the basic just tour. Okay. So hopefully everyone feels comfortable with where everything's at, what we can do. Now let's go into filtering and what's different between what folks have had access to in the past, if you had access, and what's new. So we'll have account filters and we'll have lead filters. We'll start on account filters. Since you all have your territories, you're probably not going to spend a lot of time in here, but where this is going to be very helpful is when you do have your account list, you'll be able to just look at your entire book of business here, and then you'll be able to filter down, by headquarter location. So let's just say you have a trip, you're going to New York and you just want to see, okay, which of my companies are based in New York or which of my companies are based in my territory, right? However you want to skin the cat, you can do that here. The two that I'll focus on that'll really help you all out with your territories is understanding where do you have connections? So first degree connections. So I have 4 accounts where I have first degree connections, and then buyer intent, right? So we saw where we can see buyer intent, but here you'll be able to see that down even more. Okay. Now, the other thing that I want to call out on this view is you'll actually be able to see, and we'll go into it in a little bit more detail in 30 seconds, but you'll be able to see that company's strategic priorities and any news based on that company. So real quickly, you'll be able to see, so for example, this company leveraging AI, they have high buyer intent and 2 new leadership hires, right? So again, just gives you a very quick glimpse of what you should do. So that is account filters. Now you have lead filters. So again, I have my book of business uploaded. Now this is where I can plug in my persona. So bear with me because I'm going to use my example of salespeople, right? But all I have to do here is I can plug in my persona of salespeople, and then it's going to give me, I think it was over 15,000 results, right? Everyone who's in sales and business development. Now from here, this is where I can add keywords. So if it's like a very niche title, for example, let's just say for me, partnerships is always one that I run into. I can type that in here, and then it's going to show me anyone who has the word partnerships either in their job description or in their title or somewhere on their LinkedIn profile. And Peter, I don't know if you're on this call, but it's always great to see people pop up here. Now, the other piece that you can do for those niche titles is you can type it in here. And what it's going to do is it's going to recommend based on all of the data that we have, the titles that are on LinkedIn, right? So if I type in partnership, it'll be partnerships, directors, etc. So if you're ever looking for something or a specific title, just type it in here and see what the system recommends. If it doesn't recommend anything that matches your criteria, that's just a good opportunity to type it in the keyword search. Now, the other filters that we'll have access to are current job title and seniority level. So I'm just going to keep it moving here, and we're going to look at all the executives that match my persona, right? So now I have all the CROs, chief strategy officers, anybody in the executive level who's responsible for revenue generation. Now, for all of y'all who have used Sales Navigator before, this isn't too different to what you've had access to. But now what you'll also have access to is the following your company tab. So now you'll be able to see who's actually following Empyrean. So, oh my goodness, excuse me. So all you'll have to do is turn that on. And in my example, these 62 people are obviously following LinkedIn. There you go, Jim. You're following LinkedIn. So a really good opportunity to say, okay, you're following my company. It looks like we're part of the same shared group, and we have 2 posts on LinkedIn as well. So really great opportunity just to reach out to folks. Like I'll call this one out, Erica C. That's actually a deal I closed. I found her through this search, right? So very easy to find new business this way. Now, the other piece is your connections. You'll have your first degree, you have your second degree, And then what we'll also be rolling out, hopefully in a few weeks or so, as we start getting things moving, is what we call team link connections. Team link connections are going to show you folks who are connected to everyone at Empyrean within the company. So, someone in marketing, someone in HR, maybe an intern, right? For whatever reason, if they're connected to that person that you want to reach out to, you'll be able to see them here. Now, the other pieces that we'll have access to are past customers. Like I just talked about a few minutes ago, you'll be able to just toggle that on and then it'll plug it into your persona, right? So like this executive, previous customer of mine, any past colleagues. And then what I encourage everyone to focus on for some quick wins over the next few weeks are change jobs. It's still January, but in January, that's the highest number of job changes that we see. 60% of buying decisions are made in the first 3 months of someone's new position. So if anyone's going to make any changes, they usually do it right when they get in seat because they're coming with new ideas, new initiatives. So turn that on and you'll be able to focus on the right people. So that's lead filters. Now, when we do, I'll tease it a little bit. We'll probably do it more sessions like CRM focused, but then you can also include or exclude folks in your CRM. So if you want to find like completely net new folks that nobody's ever reached out to, you can. Again, anybody with open opportunities, things like that. So I'll pause there while I pull up an account page real quick, but any questions before I move on? Nope. Okay, perfect. Now let me pull up the Empyrean page. I'll use the Empyrean page right now as an example. So for those folks who are familiar with Sales Navigator, this is going to look a little different than what you have access to. Excuse me. So you'll see all employees. It'll filter down to your decision makers. So for everyone, decision makers are categorized as folks director level or above. As you use the tool, it'll recommend personas as well. So if you're searching specifically like consistently for directors of HR or CPOs or CHROs, things like that, it'll start recommending that. And then your personas as well, right? So real quickly, it'll give you a ballpark. I don't know how accurate that is. I don't think that's right. C-suite, right? But now what you'll have access to are two things. You'll have access to account IQ and lead IQ. I'll go into lead IQ after we go into account IQ. But what this does is it generates insights on how you can help companies and what their priorities and challenges are. So this is where I'll really ask everyone to follow along. You can add your product here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the company website here. It's thinking, and I'm just going to copy the URL. Now what you can, oh, didn't mean to click on that, excuse me. Now what I can do is I can add a product. So under here, it's going to say because you sell, and I'm going to add new product. I'm going to see, I've done it for a couple of different customers this week, but I'm just going to add in the company URL, and then I'm just going to name it EMP. Hit analyze page. And what the system does is it pulls all the information about Empyrean here. It takes that and then it gives me an idea that this is going to look a little different for y'all because it's your company page, right? But it's going to give you, usually it gives you 3 or so bullet points on how you can help that company. So this is really, really helpful for messaging if you're going into conversations and you just need to do a quick research, right? You don't have, time to look through, earnings reports or anything like that. You just plug that in, you pull up the account page, and then it'll show you exactly what you're going to do. So for example, for me with LinkedIn Sales Navigator, right, it shows 3 ways that you guys can use Sales Navigator. Now from here, I'll just go through this here real quickly. It shows you how you make money, your priorities, your business challenges. It'll show you the sources of this as well, so you can always double check that. It'll show you the competitive landscape. This is really great if you're looking for like new business, right? You can see who your customers' competitors are, see if you work with them already, so that way you can reference that in conversations. Then you'll also have access, let me zoom out here so we can see everything at once. Too much. you'll have what we call Relationship Explorer and Relationship Map. So this is really good. Stephanie, picking on you again, especially for managers when you're going through deal reviews or anything like that, to understand, okay, who are we talking to? Who do they report to? Who might we not be speaking to that we should be speaking to? And you can build out your org chart here, right? So like Ann, you're there, Amanda, you're there, right? I can move you all. For example, I can put Jim on top, right? Amanda, you report to Jim, and here, right? Or you can do even parallel, right? I'm just using this as an example. You know, Craig, I don't know if you're on the call. Let's just say you report to Amanda, right? And then boom, you have a fully baked out org chart. Then you'll also see Relationship Explorer. It'll recommend those folks, and then it'll highlight, okay, who do we have connections to? Looks like Dawn was just recently hired. I don't know if you're on the call here, Dawn, but it looks like Margot, if you are on the call. Hi, Dawn. Margot, you're on the call. Looks like we have 2 mutual connections, and it looks like 3 people who worked on LinkedIn, right? Stephanie, you're right there, right? So really great opportunity just to get a really detailed look of who you should be reaching out to within your accounts. Then if you scroll down, it will just give you a breakdown of that company, of all that stuff, all that information. Now, the last thing I'll show is, Amanda, I'm gonna pick on you if that's okay. I'm gonna pick on your profile. It's because I want to show something here. Perfect. So if I go on Amanda's profile, anytime you come up on anyone's profile, you'll see a couple things, right? You'll see their job title. If you see this gold InMail badge, especially for LinkedIn outreach, we'll talk about it more on different trainings, but since we're here, this is who I encourage you to focus on for like connection requests, messages, things like that, because it means they're paying for their LinkedIn profile, just like the company is for you. So they're more likely to interact with it. They're going to view your posts, view your messages. Again, it's going to show you a couple different things. Past customer, high buyer intent. She follows my company, recently hired, 4 mutual connections. See who those are. Perfect. And then what we have is Lead IQ. This is one of my favorite ones because on top of Account IQ and on top of Lead IQ, I'll take both of those pieces of information and it tells me everything I need to know to craft a good message to them. So I can we'll cover this in more advanced trainings, but I have a workflow where I copy and paste both, and then I put it into Copilot, which is our Microsoft product, and then it spits out a custom message right away for me. So I can easily show that I've done my homework without spending 15 to 20 minutes researching folks, right? So really helpful. So that's where I'll stop. I know it is a lot for everyone. We just went through it. So thank you for bearing with me. If you feel overwhelmed, that's okay. But hopefully you should also feel like you have a lot of things at your fingertips now to reach out to folks. But we have 7 minutes left. So I will pause here. If anybody wants me to double click on anything, or if anyone has any questions or if you want to look at an account, we can spend some time doing that as well. I'm all yours.
This is Matt. I have a quick question. I'm looking at two different accounts, and I'm seeing on it for Account IQ. First, I'm looking at the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
Okay.
I'm seeing Account IQ isn't optimized for this company type yet.
Mm-hmm.
But what does that mean?
Yeah. So that just means that the company is a little too small and doesn't have enough public information out there. So, if it's the Commonwealth of Kentucky, is that like the government?
That's
page?
the state. That's
Yeah.
the state of Kentucky.
Yeah. So probably just doesn't have enough publicly available information out there. This is AI, right? So it is pulling from sources. So if there aren't enough sources out there, it happens to me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Mm-hmm. Nope. Okay. No worries. Well, hopefully that was helpful. Again, it's okay to feel overwhelmed, but hopefully it's a mix of overwhelmed and excitement. But we can stop there. Amanda, if you want to do any closing remarks, or anyone else.
Well, first of all, I just thank you so much for your time. Like I said, you'll share the recording with me. I'll put that on Highspot, send out a communication to everyone. And like I said earlier, this is just the first of several training sessions that we'll have. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, obviously Christian shared his information. Feel free to reach out to him directly or myself.
Yes. Thank you. Oh, two things I forgot to show. Usually I show these at the beginning. I'll go through these really, really quickly. So for everyone, if you do feel overwhelmed and you have some free time, let me zoom in a little bit. If you go in here in the top right corner and you go under Sales Navigator Coach, there'll be all these 30-second videos for you to watch. So I encourage you to spend some time in there. Sales Navigator Coach basically walks you through everything you have access to. And then I'll also include this in the follow-up. But this is like, if anyone knows Xfinity On Demand, this is your on-demand learning hub. So you can go here and watch videos, courses, sign up for webinars. The videos are really great because like if you just have a question, like how does CRM work or how does smart links work, right? You can go in here and just watch the videos, like how to create a smart link, right? Different things like that really quick. And then you have like deeper 45-minute long trainings that you can just fast forward through to specific parts as well. So long story short, you have more than enough resources. Again, do not hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to set up time with anybody here. But yeah.
All right,
Sweet.
well, thank
Awesome.
you so much, Christian. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Okay.
no problem. Craig, it looks like
Thank
you have
you.
a question. If you want to jump, go ahead. I'll answer Craig's question.
Perfect.
I gotta
Yeah.
go. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, see ya.
Thanks, Jim.
Go ahead, Craig.
All right. Yeah, I'm exposing my dirty laundry here. Can you just, and I've had the personal version of Sales Navigator for a long time.
Yeah.
And obviously when I see this and I've had the corporate version, I'm not using it to its fullest potential. So what I use Sales Navigator for is really to identify my buying center in a prospect, right? I mean, that's a core thing. But I always do it through leads. And so could you just recap what in the proper view, when do you have it as an account and when do you have it as a lead?
Yeah, no worries. Give me a name of account as an example.
An account or a lead?
An account. We'll start there.
Well, what is an account? That's my point. So being
okay. Yeah.
A hunter, so I just click on leads like if I want to know who's with the Commonwealth of Virginia, right? You heard Matt, we both work on public sector. So okay. I'm going to try to find the people who work in the benefits area in the Department of Human Resources, if that's...
Yeah, great. So in this case, the Commonwealth of Virginia is going to be the account, okay? So let me see. And you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Sweet. So Commonwealth of Virginia is going to be the account. If you're looking for the buying center, this is where you'll be able to keep track of it. But then what you'll do is you'll go and you'll hit all employees. And then hopefully you built a persona. If you didn't, no worries. But now you'll see under the lead filter, current company, Commonwealth of Virginia. And then you'll see function, and that's where you can type in the department. So function will always be the department, and then job title will be obviously that person's specific job title. And then from there, you can start adding different seniority levels, right? So you mentioned like director of human resources, I think is what I heard.
Well, that's fine, yeah. So my point is that's a lead, and that's how I currently do it. So, but when is a target an account? Maybe that's a better question to ask.
Yeah, an account is going to be the company. So if I'm under so again, if you're thinking of account,
okay, all right.
Commonwealth of Virginia is going to be the account.
And then the specifics of the leads.
The specific person is going to be the
lead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, hopefully that answers it. Cool. Awesome. We have 1 minute left. So if anyone else has a question, happy to answer it. Going once, going twice. Nope. All right, cool. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks for those who stuck around. Hopefully that was helpful. But yeah, we'll be seeing each other very soon. Look out for the follow-up and feel free to reach out at any point.
Thanks, Christian. We'll be
Have a great day,
talking.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Christian.